about ready to roll here. I have prepped some tags here with some text paper out of an old book, and now I want to try playing with some of these new paints from Art Anthology. So I'm just going to take a little bit and apply it through a stencil and see what we get. They're very thick, and I wanted to make sure that I don't get it too thick on here, so I'm going to dab it off so that I just have a nice weight of paint to go on here with my stencil. I need a little bit more, so we'll just keep dabbing away here. I don't want to do the whole thing, I just want to get some surface effects on here. Oh, so I think that's quite nice. Let's try another stencil, like these clocks. So I'll get another sponge and get this going on here. It does thin out enough that you can see the text through it, which is nice. I like that effect. If you don't like that effect, you can probably put it on thicker. I happen to like it, so it works for me, but you do whatever works for you. Need a little bit more up in here. Okay, we'll leave some space. Oh yeah, that's nice. And this one is a clear, but it has some gold flecks in it. So I thought that might be kind of fun to use with an overall background, and just see what happens when we apply things topically over that. So I'll get some of this out here and apply some of this through here. It has some gold glitter in it, so it should give a nice shimmer. So we'll go with that, and we'll let those dry. I'm going to drop those stencils into some water, and we'll keep moving on and doing other things while these dry. Now, the other thing I wanted to try was getting some of that thicker texture going on. So now I'm going to really bring some of this out and get it on here thickly. This is going to be opaque now because it's very thick. And because it's so thick, when you're applying it like this, you get texture. I'm thinking I can get a secondary print out of that by flipping this over this way. I'm sorry if I'm off camera because I'm not watching, but I hope you guys can see what I'm doing here. And I'll try and get that transferred. And then on here, you can probably see how much texture there is with that. So I'm going to set that aside and let that dry. And we'll see how this did. Kind of made a mess, but you never know how it's going to turn out once it's done. It's got a lot of texture going on in there, so it might be kind of cool once we get finished. But that's what play is about. Just experiment, do your thing, try different things out. Now I'm going to put these paints away, and I'm going to move on to these spray paints, which is another part of their new line. And they have, don't want to waste this. Need to do something with that, don't I? Let's put a little over here on the jelly plate. Maybe it won't dry out too quickly. And get that cleaned up. Well, we have the jelly plate going on here. I suppose I should do something with it, huh? So what I did was I smeared a little bit of that leftover paint onto the jelly, and now I need a brayer. We'll just kind of smooth that out a little bit, and we'll see what it does on a jelly print. Let's see, I quite like this one, so let's put that down and see if I can get anything up through that. Oh yeah, there's that. Okay, now I have some left over here, so I'm going to pick that up and just set it down on a piece of paper. And now I've got all this stuff going on down here, so I should take a piece of, let's see, let's try a piece of transparency and see what that does. I'll put a transparency down over this. See if I can get that to transfer onto that. Oh, isn't that interesting? Now, look at that. Kind of fun, huh? Okay, so we'll set that stuff aside to dry. And let's see. Now, these other pieces should be dry enough to do a little something here with, because these were not coated very thickly. So let's start with some of the spray. See what this does. This is Studio Blue Art Anthology. Oh, isn't that pretty? Now, I think it's a little heavy-handed, so I'm going to take a baby wipe and I'm going to remove some of that. And I think I can also, if I have a water mister here somewhere, sure I do. Sure I do. Yep, H2O, that's the stuff. Let me take this, put it down here, and try a little H2O and see what we get. If we can lift some of that with the water and get that pattern on the paper. Well, yes and no. It has kind of a watercolor effect to it, but not quite what I was thinking. So let me dry that quite quickly here. just go back with the spray once again and see what we get. Yeah, I like that much better. I'll try that again. It does move around a bit on the paper, so I would probably use a heat tool that doesn't dry quite as quickly. Unfortunately, when I was prepping for this, I dropped mine in a pan of water, so I don't think I want to turn it on just yet, and hopefully it'll survive what I just put it through, because I love my heat tool, and I'd hate to see it ruined, but I do like the effect on here. That does give a nice effect. And there is some shimmer to that black. I don't know if you guys can see it on the screen, but that's kind of interesting. So I'll set those aside. And the other thing that you can do with these, yes, I have a... Oh, jeez. Okay, so I told you about dropping my heat gun in the water. Well, that tub actually sprung a leak. So I had water all over the basement. Sorry for the interruption, but I'll show you some of the fun play I had. I was making jelly print papers. So here's some of what I got accomplished today with that. Lots of fun play, lots of color, lots of usable papers for my projects. So I'm very pleased with how these products are working and how things are turning out. These are just on freezer paper. This was on a Bristow. Isn't that gorgeous? Love that one. This is on some black text weight paper. Look at that for my Valentine's. I think I'll love using that. Oops, missed one. Here's another one with great design. More Valentine type papers. Look at that gold on there. Yum, yum. And this one, well, I don't know. I'll figure something out. This was on the transparency. More transparency. More of the black text weight. Freezer paper. So you can see I was able to accomplish a lot. Then these are those tags that you saw me working on earlier. They need to have some inking and some extra embellishments and things added, but I think they will turn out great. Thanks for stopping by. Let me know if you like what I've done. Bye.